let's roll. We got the story from Bloomberg.
All right.
Elon Musk donates to Trump, tapping vast fortune to swing the 2024 race. And I'm going to pause before we get into that because we don't know. My understanding is we don't know the full number, but we'll see if they've updated the source material. It may not be a substantial sum, but we'll see. And apparently Bloomberg is not going to let us see.
Well, something interesting this week.
We'll get a better source on that one.
At NatCon, we were discussing something about this. People were scratching their heads as to why the IVF and abortion pillars have been softened in the Republican Party platform. And I suggested that it might be to court these new Silicon Valley tech pro-natalist types like Peter Thiel, like Simona Malcolm-Collins, and like Elon Musk, who are very big on this stuff as a solution to the population crisis. So the Trump campaign... There's this new thing called Anglo-futurism, which is essentially like using technology to be progressively right-wing. I have my misgivings with it. Elon Musk is one of these guys, and so I wonder if certain things were changed in the platform to attract his support.
What we know is that Bloomberg said it was a sizable amount, and that's it. And that Elon Musk didn't want to donate directly to a campaign. Well, why would he? He's going to give what, $2,300 or something? Yeah. You want to make a real impact, you go super PAC. I can understand why Elon Musk wants to see Trump win now, especially considering Elon has been reading and watching the news to the point where he realizes the media's been lying to everybody. And it's really fascinating if you look at Elon's journey, being on Twitter, enjoying himself, looking at memes, laughing, to the point where he bought the platform. And now he's outright like, these people have been lying. They're evil. And I'll tell you this, I would make let's call it a sizable gentleman's bet, which is, I'm not really saying money, but that Elon Musk knows things about what Twitter was doing behind the scenes that he can't publicly disclose, that would probably make you crap your pants. And so he's behind the scenes. He's looking at national security information with Twitter, and they're saying, you cannot release that. That is, what the deep state does is they issue what's called the National Security Letter. They did this to an email provider that I believe Snowden was using, and I always forget the name of this company. They went to them and said, here's a national security letter. You must give us information on these users and you can't tell anyone. So instead, he said, I'm shutting my company down. Screw you. I'm willing to bet Elon Musk dug a ton of that stuff up. And they said, or I'll put it this way, the reason why they only release certain emails at a time is because of national security restrictions they have on that information.
That makes us, what kind of stuff do you think when you're thinking national security risks, like what kind of data?
No, they're lying. They're outright.
You're just calling it national security
Absolutely.
risks, but it's like names and phone numbers and addresses.
Not even necessarily. Not even necessarily. They might come to him and say, the fact that we run a program where we talk to companies is a national security endeavor you cannot expose.
Yeah, they can define national security extremely broadly to their own benefit, and they actually don't have to justify it to you. I mean, this is what you see a lot of, like, government intervention. It's like subpoena, or you're under investigation, or you have to do this thing, and we never really have to explain to you why. And actually, it's very difficult for you to resist or fight us. I mean, Elon Musk is sort of a different case because he is so wealthy, but for most people and most organizations, you can't battle the federal government indefinitely because they can just spend taxpayers' money until they decide not to, which is...
Yeah, I think it's smart for him to have an ace in the hole of some of the backdoor NSA stuff that they obviously pull with these social media companies. So, he's got multiple reasons for not just dumping that in the Twitter files. So,
you think that him holding the info actually helps?
Yeah, that's what a smart person would do.
It depends.
You hold info.
It depends on the info.
The worst info. Yeah, it depends on the nature, of course.
I mean, and that's always the big challenge. I think, I'd like to see all of it be released immediately and let 4chan go at it and just rip through everything, decentralized network of investigation. But I don't know what's in it. There could be stuff in there that, I don't know. You don't know what you don't know. Right.
Well, Musk has been hammered with, lawsuits and, of course, the Delaware judgment that hopefully, it worked out for him in the end. But, withholding, the golden parachute or the bonus that he got from his shareholders, that was just the tip of the iceberg, I think. And, he's being hammered left and right. He was complaining about it today, the SEC going after him. And, So I think he has got a lot of interest to back Trump, to see a fair bureaucracy that isn't so weaponized and politicized to protect free speech and political dissidents. I don't think he's a hardcore right-wing guy at all. I think like deep down, he just wants to see balance, a good business environment, and wants to achieve his dreams in the tech sector. So I think this is just all a calculation. It doesn't make him a MAGA guy at all. It's just a smart political bet. The headwinds are going his way. So
I would never have
sense.
classified him as like a capital R Republican or traditional conservative or anything like that. He may have some values that fall in line, but for the most part, his worldview is different than maybe the run-of-the-mill evangelical voter in the U.S.
Well, certainly, because the run-of-the-mill evangelical voter sticks around and raises their own kids. One thing that is...
You don't like his many families? He's up to at least 12, and I suspect more.
His many families, some of them don't seem to like him because they don't want to communicate with him. Look, I enjoy Musk's antics on Twitter. One of the things I think might also be pushing him towards Trump is looking at the international legislative environment. ADF International, which is a sort of Christian law firm, they're currently pursuing 2 cases involving Twitter. One on behalf of Billboard Chris, who's been on this show before. The Australian High Commission, I think it is going after him because he criticised a trans activist who's on their transgender healthcare board by accurately using the pronouns for the biological sex of the person, and this was on Twitter. And then also Michael Schellenberger, involved in the Twitter files, one of the journalists releasing it, is being hounded by the Brazilian High Court. They're trying to criminally prosecute him to ensure that he never sets foot in the country again. And I think Musk is looking at these people that he either follows or in his inner circle and are thinking, if I can at least make one strong foothold for legal free speech in the Western world, and I make it the nominal leader of the free world, I might as well throw everything I can at it to help.
Yeah. He'll also be like, he's pretty observant and aware and like flexible, and like he'll be like, well, I can't vote for Biden. And the Democrats told me that he's the candidate, so I'm going full against him. Like, sorry. It's not that I love Trump. I'm not letting that guy become president. Pulling a fast one on him.
Yeah,
That's what they did in 2020.
The Biden administration has demonized him to a certain extent, and a lot of progressive activists. I mean, as soon as he was like, hey, I think free speech is a good thing, they were like, you're the worst person we've ever met, even though, again, I'm not sure he is that divided with them on every policy out there. Not that I have any insider knowledge, but there is a level of he did things that made the wrong people happy, and so therefore, the other side of the aisle is pretty irritated with him. I don't know that he could win them back over, and even does he even want to at this point?
Yeah, I think the stunt that pulled in Delaware made him.
What was it?
Flip it on a little bit strong. Well, he was owed the exact number was it $58 billion. He was owed like tens of billions of dollars. Yeah,
his
shareholder agreement that they voted for and
the judge nullified it.
Yes.
Whoa, when?
Yeah.
But then the shareholders again convened and green lighted.
And I was one of them. I voted to reinstate his pay package. It's absolutely insane. When I saw Tesla was at like 300 a while ago, Elon Musk buys Twitter. He starts getting political. The price goes down. I'm thinking like Tesla shares are undervalued. If people are really selling because they don't like what he's saying, that's an absurdity. So I bought, and it went way up. And then when I saw that some dude had sued saying Elon doesn't deserve to get paid the billions for running what is like the name brand electric car company, especially when you have all these Democrats screaming we should have EVs and they hate the guy, which makes no sense. I was pissed. His pay gets slashed by a judge who has nothing to do with the company, even though they agreed. So this is the most infuriating thing about the whole ordeal. This one guy with a small amount of shares decided for the entirety of the company and all shareholders that the CEO shouldn't get paid. That's psychotic. And I'm thinking, you take away the incentive from the guy leading the charge and running the show, you're going to lose money. Well, they moved to Texas. They're changing it. He's getting his pay, and I'm glad to see it.
Oh, that's what sparked the move. I see. Now I'm understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But, to be fair, these companies, they register in Delaware. They incorporate in Delaware because
tax.
And then it's also connected to the Bidens.
Yeah.
The judges circuit there connected to the Bidens. They have influence through different channels.
They also have this. They have this trust thing they do. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but if the trust makes money, it doesn't get taxed. So basically, rich people will put their assets in some kind of new trust that Delaware has. They pay a fee where it's like $5,000 a year to maintain the trust. And then when the trust makes investments and those investments accrue profit, there's no one to tax. It's held by an entity with no individual. So, right.
All right.
very, very like everybody's trying to find a way to play the game. You know what I mean?
And then New York has spoiled its own, backyard as well. For you don't want to do business there with the way the Manhattan trial went down. I was I was incorporated in New York, and
Really?
it's been a nightmare.
No, it's a terrible.
I
terrible
pulled
place to
out
incorporate
and
it.
just dissolved it and reincorporated in Texas, and it's probably the smartest.
Why
move I did.
Texas?
Texas is fairly protective of free speech in the media. It's kind of a hassle for torts and certain types of litigation. Not like New York. New York is it's New York.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.